Yo, 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 what up, Fort Worth family, man? It's Fort Worth Fabian, Big Boss Fabo, back with a video for the channel, man. I'm actually doing a reaction to Powerful JRE, man, the Joe Rogan podcast. So this one is titled, Looking into the Whistleblower Who Says the Government is Hiding Alien Technology, man. So this easily backpacks right off of the last video I did. I did a more recent video that went viral of a Las Vegas family actually claiming they saw aliens land in their backyard. They saw something falling from the sky. And essentially they're saying, you know, they saw these creatures or these beasts in their backyard. And then funny enough, you know, this video had popped on my timeline. I had bookmarked it to react to it later at a later point in time. So here we are today, man. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow me on Instagram, Twitter. Fort Worth Fabian, man. Road to 1 million, man. Peace, love, prosperity. Everybody rocking with the channel. If you're new to the channel, check out the playlist page. That's where you can get familiar with all the different forms of content I usually drop on the channel, man. This is a reaction channel, so we do a lot of forms of content: trending news, news in general, entertainment, you know, documentaries, criminology, XYZ, basically, bro. So yeah, man. Join the family. With that being said, donations are open on the channel, man. Check my PayPal link in the description, man. Support a young entrepreneur, donate to the channel. Let's hop into the video. Man, a lot of this stuff on Joe Rogan's podcast, man, be very interesting. I'm not going to lie to y'all. So I'm actually considering doing more reactions regarding some of the stuff he drops. So, Buddy be opening his mind, expanding his brain.
The Joe Rogan
Thinking
experience.
outside of the box.
Well, that's why it's so weird when like this UFO disclosure thing comes out. You know, this guy, what is
Didn't it
his
just
name?
come out today?
Yesterday.
The whistleblower?
Yeah. This gentleman, David Grush. And David Grush, let's find out who he is and what his credentials were. But he essentially said that they are illegally hiding it from Congress, and they are illegally hiding it from the American people, but they have off-world craft in possession.
Who's the they in that?
It's somewhere. Well, it's in the things they're saying is. Oh, here, let's read it. Air Force veteran has made a bombshell claim that U.S. government has recovered materials that could be proof of UFOs, including an intact craft of non-human origin, but they are keeping it a secret from the public. David Charles Grush, a veteran and former member of the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency and National Reconnaissance Office, has blown the whistle on this information, speaking with several news outlets about the crafts. These are retrieving non-human origin technical vehicles. Call it a spacecraft if you will. Non-human exotic origin vehicles that have either landed or crashed, Mr. Grush told News Nation. Mr. Grush served as senior technical advisor for the unidentified aerial phenomenon analysis with top secret compartmented information clearance, according to the debrief. He also served as a senior intelligence officer in the National Reconnaissance Office. In total, he has 14 years of experience serving as an intelligence officer. So here's the question. Is that a PSYOP? Is this, we've got a non-human craft, a PSYOP?
This is my thing, bro. Like, I'm just curious why this is at this point in time generating such headlines, right? This video actually went viral on his platform, right? So with that being said, is this news that people pretty much say that the government has been hiding a lot of details as far as ETs, extraterrestrials, you know, the Area 51 hysteria. I don't know why I be trying to say Area 41, but you know what I mean? It's like this isn't news. So I think the fact that it's a resurgence, it's continuously coming up. People are saying now that, okay, I mean, at this point we're done beating a dead horse, or at this point, like, it's gotta be true to an extent, maybe.
Like if I was the government and I was working on some shit and I didn't want China or Russia to know about it, and we could do some wild shit, some anti-gravity shit.
That's what I'm saying.
I thought it was totally nuts, and I thought at first I was being deceived. But it was a ruse, Mr. Grush told News Nation. People started to confide in me, approach me. I have plenty of senior former intelligence officers that came to me, many of which I knew almost my whole career, that confided in me that they were part of a program. He told the debrief that he's prepared many briefs on UFOs for Congress, but last year decided to provide hours of classified information and data about the materials recovery program. Mr. Grush claims the materials recovery program was shielded from proper congressional oversight. So this is what Bob Lazar's been saying forever. This guy's saying that it was going on for 80 years. So, like, this brings us back to the 1940s. I mean, this means like Roswell. This is what they were talking about when all the people that were at Roswell, that were at the actual crash site and the actual claim they saw bodies. And then there was 2 different aircrafts that were flown in to Roswell, New Mexico, and took the wreckage and flew it in 2 different aircrafts in case one of them crashed, supposedly. And they flew them to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. This has all been documented. Now, if that was a balloon, it was just a balloon, why would they go through such lengths? And why are there so many people that have so many stories about Roswell? Why are there so many...
That's what I'm saying. There's too many commonalities, right? When I dropped that video the other day about the Las Vegas family, of course, you got the skeptics in the comments. Come on, man. How could this have happened? You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I want to bring up a specific point. You know what I mean? People tend to be, I guess, ignorant to things until things occur. That's just human nature. You know what I mean? Nobody believes in things until they see for themselves. But it's kind of like common sense. If people are, continuously pushing a certain narrative or a certain story, people said they saw maybe a common crash or a common sighting, like he's talking about Roswell. It's like, at that point in time, wouldn't you at least want to consider, you know what I mean? If we look at the extent of our reality, and I talk about universes, galaxies, all this and that, us admittedly knowing we don't have enough technology to even, hit the tip of the iceberg when it comes to seeing what's really out there in space. And even when it comes to the depths of the ocean, bruh, a lot of people mention a lot of stories as far as things like there's a lot of things in the depths of the ocean that we have yet to discover. Obviously different species, we know that for a fact. But additionally, things that we probably wouldn't even be able to explain, man. A dude on his show the other day was talking about mermaids, mermen, and, people in certain backgrounds and cultures advocate to this. People in South America, people in Africa, things of that nature, seeing things and on their side of the planet that we can't really attest to in America just because, we haven't seen it here. He was on something. It's funny to me how people are so quick to dismiss, but I guarantee you if you was that person in that situation, you'd be shitting yourself. But you so quick to just dismiss stuff. People are just so dumb to me sometimes, man. It's and no offense. Like, it's just in a sense, it's in a light that if you look at, just our existence is so vast that there's got to be so many different things that we're just not even up to par with, in the cahoots with. There's so much going on in the world, bro, in the universe, for a person to think they know it all. Oh, there's no way this could happen. That's completely ignorant to me, bro.
Hokey, goofy fucking explanations of what happened, including it was a parachute, and there was human dummies, like crash test dummies that were evolved. They were crash testing things, like. Not according to the people that were there. What they saw was materials that could not be explained, insanely light. You would crumple it, and it would immediately flex back to the stage that was out there. They found things that had some sort of writing that resembled hieroglyphs. They don't. These people, they could have all been full of shit. It could have been just some story. Something happened, and everybody told everybody, and you're playing a game of telephone, and the next thing you know, it's this wild story of bodies and little tiny caskets and and people being silenced. But the problem is the story is very universal. When they're all telling the story, it's real similar, man. It's a real point. And the guy who was a part of the initial release, he went public afterwards and said that stuff that we showed the American public when they were sitting there. I forget the gentleman's name. But he was showing like a piece of a weather balloon, and they had this smile on their face. This is one day after I think it was the Roswell Daily Record. They had the front page of the newspaper that the government has recovered a crashed UFO.
I don't know how big the universe is. I've heard it's hard to quantify in size.
That's the point.
Yeah, that's it right there.
Nobody knows.
What do you think the odds are in all of the universe that we are alone?
It's not good. If it is, it's wild. If it's just us, it's wow. What a weird fucking aberration.
Well, let's assume it's not us. So for a species I mean, we can look at where we are at. We can make it to kind of the moon before we start fucking up. Maybe Elon can get us to Mars, maybe not. But so let's assume that a species that was able to come like check us out is probably more advanced, probably more intelligent. I think they would run for the fucking hills.
Why?
Because we are idiots. And I think anybody who viewed humanity from a long enough, more objective lens would say maybe we can just leave this trash planet alone for a little bit, and we'll come back after either they have killed themselves again.
Word. And it's not even like, what he's saying ain't even funny. He's spitting facts, man. If you look at human society, right? And that's why you see, that's why you've seen a lot of these movies, the narrative is to blow up Earth. Like, why is that the common narrative? And funny enough, is like we're the ones making these movies about aliens visiting our life. You know what I mean? Or extraterrestrials, right? Why is it the narrative is always they want to destroy our planet, take it over? It could tie directly into what this dude's saying. You know what I'm saying? If they are very advanced technological wise and very smart, and they're just able to observe us and study us from a distance, and we have no clue, and they know that this is just a trash planet, this is a place where we could come back later, or we could come back and just destroy it and take it over. You know what I'm saying? Like, my thing is, why is that always the common narrative? It's always like a narrative that Earth as a planet is a planet that needs to be destructed or overran.
And regrow.
And maybe y'all may think I'm taking it too far with this, but a lot of people is like, I'm a very open-minded individual into looking at a lot of things throughout history. Science speaks, you know what I mean, in terms of just the vastness of our creation. It's like, come on, man. I'm not going to try to act like, yes, aliens are in flying saucers. I saw one land in my backyard. But I'm open to the idea and the thought of that if we're one of millions of galaxies, bruh. Like, come on. Our tech is not advanced to the point to where we could really explore, but imagine what we would find if we did.
Into something better, or when they come and visit us.
And he's the guy he's ended his career to come out and talk about this stuff because he's like this is nuts. Like, this is, and if you're a real patriot, that's probably the thing you should do. And apparently, according to Sagar, he was talking about breaking points. The New York Times rejected this. The Washington Post rejected this. They didn't want to talk about it. This is the gentleman. So let's play this.
Yeah, because everybody's yes men. They're not going to go against the grain. Why would they? They have too much to lose.
Technical vehicles, call it spacecraft if you will. It's probably not the right parlance, but no kidding, non-human, exotic origin vehicles that have either landed or crashed.
We have spacecraft from another species.
We do, yeah.
How many?
Quite a number.
That's it. Where's the whole interview?
Probably that website.
See if you can find. Is that something you have to sign up for? What is it? What is it?
News Nation.
News Nation. Meanwhile, that might be a 100% government-controlled organization that just promotes propaganda. And that guy's working for them. You got to think about all these things.
I know.
Of course.
News Nation. Who are these folks?
Where Cuomo ended up.
Oh.
But when he says you got to think about all of these things, he got a point. But in the same regard, human nature is to always try to debunk, because we're so like. If I'm gonna be completely frank, we're afraid, man. We're scared. If this was a possibility, it could exist, people would be shitting themselves. That's why they want to debunk it before it could even process to be a reality. No, there's no way aliens could exist, bro. No. Well, how could that happen if, you know what I'm saying? People always want to debunk things. That's why people hate on religion. That's why people hate on the supernatural, extraterrestrials. People, they can't fathom it because people live in such a bubble in a world that's just natural. They can't live beyond their mind. So the first thing I'm going to do is debunk it, disregard it. But then when it's true, it's like a slap across the face, isn't it?
Interesting.
Channel it is.
He's their fucking centerpiece. Look at that.
Yes, he is.
He looks a little tanner than usual.
Can we save ourselves from ourselves, Joe? To go back to the humanity sliding towards the brink?
It's possible.
Oh, here's the 10-minute interview.
Okay, let's hear this guy.
What do you want? How much?
Just play it. Let's just see what's up.
Military program that has reportedly found wreckage of fully intact explosive
on the UFO question.
What conclusion did you come to at the end of your time on the UAP task
Aliens
force?
exist, bruh.
The UAP task force was refused access
Duh.
to a broad crash retrieval program.
When you say crash retrieval, what do you mean?
These are retrieving non-human origin technical vehicles, call it spacecraft if you will, non-human, exotic origin vehicles that have either landed or crashed.
We have spacecraft from another species.
We do, yeah.
How many?
Quite a number.
You're kidding.
No. I thought it was totally nuts, and I thought at first I was being deceived. It was a ruse. People started confiding in me. They approached me. I have plenty of current and former senior intelligence officers that came to me, many of which I knew almost my whole career, that confided in me they were a part of a program. They named the program. I've never heard of it. And they told me, based on their oral testimony, and they provided me documents and other proof, that there was, in fact, a program that the UAP task force was not read into.
Grush alleges the U.S. government.
Does it keep going? What else does it say?
The entire American public has been lied to for decades.
Yeah, there's a sophisticated disinformation campaign targeting the U.S. populace, which is extremely unethical and immoral.
You are saying to the human race, for the first time, an official intelligence representative at a high level from the US government is saying publicly, we are not alone.
We're definitely not alone. Absolutely, the data points empirically that we're not alone, yeah.
Do we have bodies? Do we have species of...
Area 51 does.
naturally, when you recover something that's either landed or crashed, sometimes you encounter dead pilots. And believe it or not, as fantastical as that sounds, it's true.
It's also harder for people to wrap their minds around the concept.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. The way he's kind of, I don't know. The way he's telling the story, it seemed like this is all scripted. But
He might be full of shit.
that's why I say he's full of shit.
Well,
He might be.
I'm fascinated.
Agent. He might be a government agent.
Well, to unpack that a little bit, so there are. I can only speak to it from a military perspective. So he was in the Air Force. There are programs, they're covered programs, or there are programs that you're not going to get read into. And just because you're read into one program doesn't mean you're going to get read into other ones. So his clearance, TSSCI, is not an uncommon one. It's the same clearance that I held that I was in. Having a clearance, there's two things, right? You have to have the clearance, and then you have to have the need to know. So you could view him saying we were not read into another program as something that would be conspiratorial, or you could view it as like one program didn't necessarily have something to do with the other one, so there's no need to actually read them in. I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm fascinated to understand. It sounds like what he is saying is that the United States military is nesting that program, the program to go recover, and I would be fascinated to know how they are doing that invisibly. I mean, we're talking aircraft. We're talking identification early on, aircraft moving teams, and this. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of shit.
Right.
I'm not saying it's impossible.
But there are people that are coming forward, so it's not like
Sure.
they're totally being quiet, which is sort of
They're
in
coming
line
forward with
human
a piece.
nature.
They're coming forward with a piece of a pie. I'd be
Right.
fascinated how all the pieces of the pie fed together. I'm not saying what he's saying isn't true, but watching that act.
What does he mean they're coming together with a piece of the pie? I think at this point in time, you got to come with a piece, because if you come with the whole thing, people ain't going to be able to eat the whole thing anyway. A pie is eaten in pieces. You know what I'm saying? In terms of, he probably has additional information that he's not going to just throw out there if it is true. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to just spill the beans. I think if there was an interview in that case, it would be longer than an hour. It'd be like 3-4 hours long, bro. So he's got to come with pieces. I mean, anybody with general understanding knows that, like, people can't handle entirety of a truth. So that's why people will breadcrumb it. You know what I mean? So what if he's giving you a piece just so that you're up on the awareness? You don't need to know the exact name of all the technology these ETs or aliens use, or what spacecraft they were flying in. Does the spacecraft have seat belts? Like, who cares, bro? Like, general understanding is that it exists from his perspective. And the thing is, like, these stories have been going on since the 60s, bro. So why is it still such a, like, I don't know, like a revelation? Oh my gosh. So I don't get it.
Actually, for me, with my limited understanding of some of the stuff he was talking about, I have more questions that I would want to ask him.
Everybody got
Yeah, I
questions,
would want to ask
brother.
him too.
Everybody does.
We got to get him. Got to get him on here.
I bet he would come on here.
I'm just gonna go on fucking.
I
news,
feel like,
whatever
though,
the hell it is.
I feel
News
like
Nation.
Tour. He went on a tour, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Oh, why didn't he contact us?
I think you might get more circular answers.
Maybe he did.
Probably asked too many
Yeah.
fucking questions.
You might get more.
Ooh, maybe I asked too many questions. Maybe the word I get him
You
high.
ask good questions, though. Is he still in? It might not even matter. I don't even know if they probably allow weed in the current military. You might get more circular answers than specific ones. If you look at the answers that he was giving, and again, I'm not trying to discount what he's saying. And I personally, like I have said many times, I think it's improbable that we're alone.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, he's not going to give specific answers on a sub-segment of a show, like to where he's got a brief 30 to 40-minute slot to speak. Like, if this dude sat down one-on-one with you in, like, you know, bottle of whiskey, you know what I'm saying? Y'all sat at the table, just talked it out like men, you know, I'm sure he's going to give you the details, bro. But it's obvious. I understand where he's coming from in the sense that he's saying it's surface level, but that's very obvious in the sense that he was invited on a show. He's supposed to give a surface level explanation of things. He's not going to sit there and detail it. But, you know, this is all hypothetical, essentially.
He was speaking in generalities and not specifics. He was talking about other people's experiences, less his own.
Yes, that's a good point, and that's what my question would be: what have you seen?
Yeah.
What have you seen physically with your own eyes?
Yeah.
What have you touched? What do you know for a fact?
See, these are the questions to
And
ask.
again, I'm not saying he hasn't had those experiences, but I would ask those same questions as
Because I guess, yeah, I agree.
well. And it's just from my understanding of how the military will compartmentalize, as all organizations who actually want to keep information, or at least
Secrecy.
delay the release of information. Compartmentalization is not a novel concept.
Well, that's what Bob Lazar said was the problem with the back engineering.
But real
program.
quick, I got to say this to the
They
point. Just
said
because
that-
he hasn't physically seen things or he hasn't touched things, that doesn't mean anything, right? Because there's common knowledge in a lot of these services, secret services, or, you know, military organizations, you know what I mean? There's common knowledge of and understanding of things, even though people haven't seen things. So let's say his unit or whoever he report to, or he had intel that basically, yes, bro, aliens exist. We study them at XYZ location. It's factual, but make sure this is all kept under wraps, you know, per military guidelines, something like that. Well, I mean, at that point, I would be 90% sure, especially since I'm getting it from somebody who's in the same branch as me. If I'm getting the information from a superior, I'm gonna respect that information. You know what I mean? So I don't think it always has to deal with what he's seen personally.
That science can't exist like that in a vacuum, and the propulsion experts were not allowed to talk to the metallurgists. The metallurgy experts were not allowed to talk to the biology experts. He said if they really did have physical bodies, the people that were working on the propulsion system had no knowledge of that. Weren't allowed to talk about it. But there was all chatter. Everyone would talk about things, and apparently there was some sort of a debriefing they gave them, and in that debriefing, he said it was so nuts. He said, first of all, they said they've been coming here forever, and they also said that we're a product of accelerated evolution, which is wild as fuck.
Yeah.
That human beings in general, why we are so different from all the other primates. I mean, that's always been the fucking conspiracy theory folklore. That's the fun one. You know, is that they came down. That's the Anunnaki that came down here and messed around with lower primate DNA and did something to it to create a human being.
I'm here for it.
I'm here for that.
Yeah.
That would make everything fun. And then
I'm not. 'Cause
I would
believe in
think
God.
that the government would want stuff like this to come out if they're in the middle of like stealing money.
And this is my thing, you know, I'm a wholehearted believer in the creator, you know, the man upstairs. I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I don't believe that we were stemmed from, you know, aliens coming down and experimenting on apes. But I do believe that to the extent that there's a lot of things that we're not capable of understanding or knowing. So, you know, I know immediately somebody's going to come with, well, if you believe in God, you shouldn't believe in aliens, because if you believe in God, he doesn't talk about aliens in the Bible. But it's like, my thing is, I know for a fact the word specifically says like God's, our largest idea doesn't even compare to God's smallest idea. So, I mean, if we're talking about a God who created the galaxies and things of that nature, I think there's a lot of things that, information that's withheld from us as human beings just to the extent of what we could handle. You know what I mean? I don't think that even if there is aliens, that doesn't debunk the creator. You know what I mean? Because they could live in an existence, like they say, that's a million millennia away, light years, whatever you want to say, but travel to us. But my point being, holistically, to not keep rambling, is that I think that there's a lot of things that, God created that didn't give us any information on, that we weren't supposed to, know about up front.
Or doing something really wild.
Oh, the classic misdirection.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, if you're going to take something that gets rid of a certain amendment, or you're going to do something that allows you to infringe on rights or to impose some new sort of restrictions and
bring the aliens out.
Yeah, bring the aliens out.
Bring them out. Bring them out. So there you have it, man. Looking into the whistleblower says the government is hiding alien tech. This story went bonkers on his channel. I don't know for what reasoning, though. I think maybe it's because it was around the time of that Las Vegas sighting, or you know what I mean? So let me know y'all's thoughts on this in the comment section below. I know I'm going to get the people in the comments, the trollers in the comments. But, man, this is, interesting stories, interesting content. So with that being said, I do plan on looking into more stuff on his channel because Joe Rogan be dropping a lot of heat. I ain't going to lie to you. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Fabian, road to 1 million, man. Peace, love. We're about to hit 30K subs, man. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications, man. Check out my description, man. Donate to the channel as well. PayPal link in the description, man. Peace. Catch you guys.